Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the DC preliminary of FameLab Astrobiology. I'm Sean Domingo Goldman. I'm going to be your host for this morning. I'll be introducing our contestants, but before we get to that, I'm going to introduce our judges who have so graciously volunteered to provide their services to us today. I'm going to start on your right with David Grinspoon. Dr. Grinspoon is curator of astrobiology at the Denver Museum of Nature and Science and is an adjunct professor of astrophysical and planetary science at the University of Colorado. A frequent advisor to NASA, he is lead scientist for astrobiology on an instrument that is now on its way to Mars on the Curiosity rover. One of his books, Venus Revealed, was a Los Angeles Times Book Prize finalist, while another, Lonely Planets, The Natural Philosophy of Alien Life, was a Penn Literary Award for research nonfiction. His popular writing has appeared in Slate, Scientific American, Natural History, Astronomy, the Boston Globe, the LA Times, and the New York Times. He was awarded the 2006 Carl Sagan Medal for Public Communication of Planetary Science by the American Astronomical Society. Please help me in thanking David for joining us today. Next to David, we have Linda Billings. Dr. Billings is a research professor at the George Washington University School of Media and Public Affairs in Washington, D.C. She does communications research for NASA's astrobiology program in the Science Mission Directorate. She has also advised NASA's lead scientist for Mars exploration and NASA's planetary protection officer on communications. Her research has focused on the rhetoric of science and space exploration and the social construction of scientific authority. She earned her PhD in mass communication from the Indiana University School of Journalism, her MA in international transactions from George Mason University, and her BA in social sciences from SUNY Binghamton. Please join me in welcoming Linda to the FameLab stage. Thanks, Linda. And next to her is Bill Margol. Bill Margol is a graduate of Syracuse University's S.I. Newhouse School of Public Communications. He has worked for the last 23 years in many positions in the television industry. Covering the ground of writer, producer, editor, developer, and executive, Bill has worked at the Sci-Fi Channel, TNT, the Travel Channel, where he launched the groundbreaking series Anthony Bourdain, No Reservations, and Discovery Studios. In 2008, Bill joined National Geographic Television as Director of Development, and in 2011 took on the role of Vice President, heading up all development for National Geographic Television. Bill has a love of science and adventure, and in spite of that, the fact that he would most certainly lose his lunch in his helmet, dreams of one day being an astronaut. Please join me in welcoming Bill to the FameLab stage. And finally, next to me is Nikki Lowry. Nikki is Director of Film Marketing and Outreach for National Geographic Cinema Ventures. As such, she markets their giant screen and digital films to museums and science centers, as well as manages the education outreach for these films, with particular emphasis on STEM education. Nikki's experience spans education and entertainment marketing. She has served as film commissioner in Park City, Utah, as well as director of marketing for the Sundance Institute, the Sundance Film Festival, and the Miami International Film Festival. She has taught college-level English language and literature. Figures I get that part of it wrong, right? She has taught college-level English language and literature and English as a second language in both Thailand and Lebanon. She has been the senior marketing manager for the National Geographic Explorer Classroom magazine, which brings science content to 2 million students in grades K through 12. Please join me in welcoming Nikki to the stage.
When we look to the stars and ponder whether we may be alone in the universe, we don't just learn about the universe, we also learn about ourselves. And the reverse holds too. Our understanding of ourselves helps us understand whether there may be any extraterrestrial civilizations out there and why it is that we haven't found them yet. For example, in the Cold War era, when the United States and the Soviet Union were threatening to annihilate each other with nuclear weapons, some scientists proposed that maybe intelligent civilizations throughout the galaxy tend to destroy themselves once they develop sufficient technology to do so. The idea here is that the reason we haven't observed any extraterrestrials is that, well, they destroy themselves before we have the chance to see them. And that's a really scary prospect for us, because if intelligent civilizations across our galaxy tend to destroy themselves, then we'll probably do the same thing. Now, the Cold War era has ended, but the threat of nuclear weapons certainly still remains, and so does the possibility that civilizations destroy themselves. But meanwhile, human civilization faces other challenges, in particular the challenges of environmental sustainability like climate change and biodiversity loss. Likewise, potentially other civilizations across the galaxy face similar sorts of sustainability constraints. The idea here is that maybe the reason that we haven't observed any extraterrestrials is that these sustainability constraints prevent them from expanding out into the universe where we can find them, that they're stuck in some remote corner of the galaxy. Now, this idea is a much more encouraging prospect for us than the idea that civilizations tend to destroy themselves, though it does mean that we as a civilization would probably struggle to sustain our growth. Ultimately, however, these ideas, they're just that. They're ideas. Until we actually observe any extraterrestrials, we won't know what they're like and what challenges they might face. And so, as we face our own challenges of sustainability and, well, self-destruction, let's remember that the stakes here are literally astronomical. Indeed, we might be the only intelligent civilization anywhere, the only chance for intelligent life to make something special in the universe. And so as we face these challenges, the stakes here are literally astronomical, and it's up to us to make sure that things work out okay. Thank you.
That was really great, Seth. I think one of the things that you did is you picked a really provocative subject, and it's a great way to grab an audience is to find something that's provocative and to find the connection. Here's our problem, and therefore this is why we might look for this out there. If from a constructive standpoint, I would say slow down a little bit. I know it's tough to get up here. It's a little nerve-wracking, and it's a little, and we tend to, especially when you've got something memorized, a presentation, you tend to sort of just, train right through it. Give yourself a little breathing room, and give yourself a little time to react to things in emotion with your voice, so that doesn't all come through at one level. You know what I mean? You want to give yourself some highs and some lows, and that'll bring your audience along with you. But overall, really nice job.
I echo that, and I thought it was very well written from a content standpoint. Again, I think if you slow down, you had a number of instances where you and so if you slow down a little bit, I think you'll get rid of those just naturally. I also thought there were a couple instances where I thought you repeated yourself just a couple times, but your topic was so fascinating, and I can just see middle and high school kids going, "This is so cool. What are we going to do? Let's figure out how to be sustainable because it's all in our hands." So good job.
Great job. I have one quick comment. You present professorially, and I think that's a good thing, and I would encourage you to think about how you might use that to your advantage. Thanks.
Thank you.